Are you frightened? We were. We had just entered the sacred ground of cannibals. For centuries, a very secret ritual was performed by the most distinguished men of the tribe. It is forbidden to set foot in here without the explicit permission of the last descendant, the keeper of the place.
Our host explains to us, a blow with a flat hardwood projectile knocks the victim unconscious.
Hardwood, flat head. This just to stand on the head, knock the bed off, come back down, save you climbing trees.
Do you really only use wood?
Yeah, wood, or they use the black palm.
Perhaps I should translate. Mostly of black palm wood, victims of enemy tribes were hanging in this place. Tribes living in Malakula Island differ from each other by the size of their penis sheaths. Big Numbas have larger ones. Each village has its own customs, specific decorations, and storytelling dances. Children mimic adults, learning new skills and customs. In unspoiled nature, time takes on a different dimension.
During any encounter, one must be careful and respectful. Here, everyone closely guards their territory. The chief of small Nambas from Malakula Island invited us to eat the popular lap lap. We dare not refuse it.
To fill bamboo with food is an inherited skill. Until recently, the ancestors even managed to stuff in there a missionary now and again. Matches are obviously not missed by anyone here.
Palm fronds are the basic building block for Vanuatu natives. Anything from roofs, sleeping mats, baskets, to toys are made of it. The food is almost ready. I suppose we're the only ones concerned about washing our hands. Lap laps cook under hot lava stones, just like in an oven. Yams mixed with water and mashed into a paste are wrapped into banana leaves and mixed with vegetables, coconut milk, and cooked meat. We all break off small pieces of baked dough and dip them into coconut sauce. The taste of coconut and smoke is overpowering. The food was so light, nobody feels like resting. Perhaps to the contrary.
This is Malakula Airport. The larger of the 82 islands of Vanuatu archipelago can also be reached by plane. Flights are guaranteed not to be boring. After such a long and lengthy trip, it merely takes a few short meters to enter a completely different world.
With only a narrow beam of light to guide us, we feel like space travelers. With their lavish appearance, some stars are easily spotted, while others require a more thorough search. Their camouflage blends seamlessly with the coral landscape. Being surrounded by total darkness makes it easier for me to focus, even on the smallest of them.
Only motion betrays these leaf fish. They are masters of camouflage.
You won't find such colors and ornamentation on dry land. I often wish I could take some of this underwater splendor home with me. Perhaps that's why I no longer dive without a camera.
The morning tide helps young shell gatherers. The small change they make by selling them to tourists is a welcome contribution to their parents in hard times. Compared to the small seaside stalls, the central market of the capital, Port Vila, is always busy. Farmers from all around come here to offer their crops. For the locals, small-scale farming is one of the main ways to make a living. We are heading for Tranquility Island. It is a paradise, not only for divers, but also for sea turtles. We are welcomed by the always good-humored Owen, who looks after the sea turtles here in an unusual resort hidden in the bush. Village people bring him young hawksbill turtles, and he looks after them until their own shells grow strong enough to protect them. It is sadly ironic that they have been on Earth several million years longer than we have, yet man is the reason for them being on the brink of extinction. With the help of some of the locals, Owen provides them a refuge during the most vulnerable period of their lives.
However, his protégés must wait to be freed.
Very good. Out of the tank to the deep blue sea, yeah?
Naturally, we named the turtle Escape to Nature, and she is just 1 year old today. It is a big day for her. Today, she will experience the wild.
Okay, now, as I was saying before, we've taken the tag numbers there on the clipboard, and these will be recorded, and we wish to do this because of the ongoing publicity we require to help save the turtle. Coming here and letting us show you our turtle rookery and also to release this turtle.
We have something in common with Owen's turtles. Today, we too are about to discover this wonderful world.
Owen has noticed the turtles remain in Vanuatu waters for some 5 years before they set off for longer ocean voyages. If they are lucky, they can live more than 50 years. During the 11 years Owen has been following the freed turtles, he has received information of them reaching as far as Fiji and Australia's Byron Bay. almost 2,000 kilometers away. Most of a hawksbill's life is spent among the coral reefs. They are loners and only seek a partner during the mating season, every 2 or 3 years. Then, they lay up to 140 eggs. However, only about 4 survive until maturity.
Fortunately, my flash doesn't disturb a hawksbill from enjoying its favorite delicacy, sea sponge, this one found under the old coral. When she cannot find sponge, she makes do with plants and reef animals. Their strong shell deter many predators, yet the turtles do become prey of some sharks, crocodiles, and turtle hunters. Danger awaits these beautiful animals even before they are hatched. For many people, even locals, turtle eggs remain a sought-after delicacy.
We say goodbye to our turtle. It would be wonderful to meet her again in some other beautiful place in the Pacific. You can easily find a copra plant. Just follow the smell of burnt coconut. Cut in half, the coconut is dried over an open fire to harvest the coconut flesh from the shell. The flesh is then used to make coconut oil and other products. No larger community is complete without a little plot to grow yams, an overgrown type of potato, and without a piggy. Often it is cared for almost like a pet.
This is kava. When a man wants to talk to another man about a serious matter, they don't go for a beer, they go for kava. And kava is not a coffee. It is made of a pepper plant and is so bitter that your head might spin. It brings on a feeling of lightheadedness and it makes your tongue numb, and that is the point of it.
Women from the northern Bank Islands loosen up in a different way. They performed on Oyster Island and happily entertained us with a song called Morning Star. Oyster Island Preservation is at an estuary where the river meets the sea. Its name is derived from the mangroves, whose roots are an ideal place for oysters and provide cover for various sea animals. It is also the gateway to sail up the river for the legendary Blue Hole of Espiritu Santo Island.
This shining blue spectacle of perfection is due to a physical law. Just like in the sea, the reds of the color spectrum are gradually absorbed by the depth. Here, water seeping through the limestone walls of the cave is filtered crystal clear, so one can see the bottom to a great depth. And the result is a beautiful, shining turquoise blue.
While traveling around the Vanuatu archipelago, we met many people whose lives have been radically changed from living here. New Zealander Megan left her position as a bank clerk to help animals needing her help. She found Dracula when he fell out of a nest, and to this day, he is somewhat attached to her.
Here we go. Ooh.
Her biggest love, however, are her horses. They were found in pitiful condition, and she nursed them back to health. Preparing our diving and filming gear often reminds me of an army exercise. We are getting ready to explore a significant location of interest for divers interested in war history.
This dive is a journey through time. We discover a witness of war, who perhaps maps strategic positions of the participating troops. In the wreckage of the plane, an SB Douglas Dauntless dive bomber, we find the propeller, the engine, and remnants of what were wings.
The wreck is now colonized by dozens of undersea creatures. They also find shelter at the site where the aerial cameraman lens recorded events on the battlefield.
During the Second World War, the island of Espiritu Santo was an important base for the U.S. military, housing almost 100,000 soldiers. When the base closed, it tidied up after itself in a very effective way. All of their leftover supplies and equipment were pushed into the sea.
The result of the Army-style cleanup is an extensive underwater exposition of tractors, excavators, jeeps, and other equipment. The location is aptly known as Million Dollar Point, and to this day the island profits from it. It attracts a great number of divers and snorkelers.
In the peace of this underwater silence, we are swimming through the noisiest history of the island. Not all the traces could be swept underwater, though. The Americans left behind a large infrastructure of roads, airports, harbors, and concrete buildings, which, to this day, serve Vanuatu, making it easier for visitors to explore the island. The question is whether this will remain a benefit in the future.
News spread that Dr. Alan Profka and his wife Deborah organized a day for the locals in their private clinic on Aurora Island today. Sandy, the boat taxi man, brings them from the surrounding islands. Debbie and Alan have returned from Australia with a surprise for the local women.
We have some wonderful supporters in Australia, one of which, just of late, a friend who has a lingerie store where we come from in Australia, donated many bras for the ladies. So she has done a small promotion in her store to encourage people to bring in their older bras and promote buying a new bra, but the donated bras would come to Vanuatu, and she asked me if I would distribute them for her, and I was really happy about this because I know how much the ladies love good bras.
Dr. Allen explains to all of his new patients the basic rules of prevention. Avoid the 3 white poisons: white flour, white sugar, and white rice. Most of the new health problems that face ethnic people have been caused by the change in their diet and eating habits, frequently appearing in new diseases to the locals such as diabetes, cancer, and gum disease.
The shops are going to sell that to them. So 80% of the world still use traditional medicine. So 80% of the world's population is still using herbal medicine and bush medicine or medicines that have been handed down through the centuries. They're losing a lot of this culture and custom with the advent of allopathic medicine. And I'm certainly not suggesting that allopathic medicine is wrong for them. What I am saying is that their traditional medicines have some value. They have sustained them for hundreds and hundreds of years. That in conjunction with allopathic medicine surely has to be the best provision of healthcare. Have a feel of this one. Okay, you turn him this way. All right, you stretch him out. Yeah, pull him more down. Yeah. Yeah, good. All right, let me make it more inflammation, let me make it more pain, huh?
One of Dr. Allen's patients is a football legend. In 2010, the Vanuatu football team miraculously made it to the World Cup qualifying level.
Sandy, the boat taxi man, lives with his family in a traditional way on the land which belongs to Dr. Profka's family. When the Profkas are away, he takes care of the property. The running of their clinic is financed by income from charter sales they organize. They host events at home in Australia to raise finances to bring medicine, hygienic supplies, and children's school supplies to Vanuatu. In other words, things which are scarce here.
Alan and Deborah invited us along to explore the most interesting places they have discovered so far. Some of these places white man has not set foot on before. They also promised to show us some unexplored reefs and cliffs. Diving in such places attracts us the most.
I can warm up for a minute over the flow of hot water which rises from the springs here. A long wait for the right shot made me chilly. Vanuatu Archipelago is in a volcanically active region. Tana Island even has an active volcano, and one can take a look into its crater. During a decompression break, we unexpectedly met a local who performed a diver's caper.
We will be using some water.
While Alan was making the sail into a water catcher to get some rainwater, we heard the howl of an exhausted castaway.
Doesn't bite, Tom. He might be hungry.
Oh.
bit of a mess with these biscuits, though.
Oh, well, he might have run away in the bush when they came and they couldn't find.
Come on. Come on, come on.
Crusoe, as we named him, swam after us every time we tried to return him to shore, and so he became a new crew member. We wondered if he knew he could have lost his life by deciding to reach us using his last remaining strength.
They're all overgrown again. So
We came across a family from New Zealand who were anchored at the southern tip of Vanuatu Island. As soon as we too dropped anchor, the local baker didn't miss the chance to sell us some of his goodies to accompany our catch. Alan and Debbie have friends among the village people they visit regularly, and by communicating with them often, they know how they can help them. We can stay longer on some of the more remote islands, giving us a chance to get to know the locals and their way of life better. Erica offers accommodation in simple but charming little houses. Compared to local dwellings, these are decorated and have concrete floors.
Walking through the bush, children come to school from far and wide. Along with English and math, teachers reinforce the children's awareness of their indigenous culture and try to prepare them for their encounters with the outside world, knowing that otherwise the children may not manage to retain their own local cultural values.
Unfortunately, the progress of civilization will not stop just because we from busy cities would like it that way. They covet things from the outside world, both useful and just entertaining. Fortunately, they also realize that it is their authentic culture and values, their harmony with nature and with each other, that bring visitors to the islands.
Members of this family have come together to help build a house for a young couple. They prepare bamboo sticks to make wall screens, which at the same time will provide an interesting interior design.
Each island has a place that is in some way important or sacred for the Ni Vanuatu. Moon Cave is one of those spots, and Ben Willie is already expecting us.
Legend has it that the Moon Cave is where the moon was born. A long time ago, the moon was inside the cave and there was no way in or out. Then one day, an old man appeared inside the cave and saw the moon hanging from the ceiling. He called the moon to him and threw it to the south. That broke through the southern entrance. However, the moon has returned to the old man, and he threw it to the north and broke through a second entrance. Ever since then, it is possible to float through the cave, but the moon has not come back and remained in the sky.
Islanders place pebbles under the dripping stalactites of this cave, one pebble for each member of the family. The calcium-enriched water bind the pebbles together, thus bonding the family as well.
Ntola vanwe sana som. Ntola ure ya maibo. La taro kaya la gorot la luna malanga ulul. Malanga ulul.
People who lived in the 18th century left us a message. All that was important for them, they scraped into the rock. From their time comes this ship. It was the first ship they ever saw. It is likely it was Captain James Cook's ship on its voyage from Pentecost Island to Santo Island.
It's almost impossible to not fall in love with the natives and their way of life, making each goodbye as painful as leaving one's own home. Divya found her new family on Vanuatu Island when she was here with the American Peace Corps. After a year, her mission is now over. She says she will never forget the many evenings of exchanging stories with the local chieftain.
She admits that such encounters are often more valuable for the islanders than material gifts. Alan and Debbie always find time to talk about what's up. Their acceptance by the people provides them insight to places like hidden waterfalls, which they otherwise would have never known about. In any case, it's always good manners here to ask the chief for permission to enter places which belong to him.
Dr. Allen uses a spare moment for his medical mission. This time, something pleasant and fragrant.
The more islands of the Vanuatu archipelago we visit, the more we feel that even if we spent the rest of our lives exploring, there would never be enough. What is the norm on one island does not necessarily apply on another. However, in our eyes, they all have one thing in common: the extraordinary openness and kindness of the locals. Debbie and Alan explain more.
The desire to dive the President Coolidge was always on Alan's heart, and when he suggested that, I thought, yes, let's do it. So little did we know what was ahead of us. And we came and fell in love with this place and realised we could help and give back.
The Coolidge was originally a luxury liner owned by the President Line. At the beginning of World War II, it was requisitioned by the government to act as a troop carrier. It's a ship of over 200 metres in length, and it is only 300 metres from the shore, making it one of the largest and most accessible dive wrecks anywhere in the world.
We study the schematics of the wreck and then plan our route. 1942, SS President Coolidge sailed to Luganville, the capital of Espiritu Santo. It managed to hit its own American mine, not once but twice, due to poor navigation. The captain tried to save the ship by running it onto the reef. The ship, however, skidded over it and sank. Practically all of the 5,440 soldiers and crew managed to survive. Only 4 souls were lost in the calamity. Many decades after the ship was scuttled and sank, much of the original furnishings remain intact. Even the chandeliers in the first-class smoking salon still have their bulbs.
The Lady with a Unicorn. This colorful porcelain mosaic, attached to the dining room ceiling, silently remains. Her beauty on display some 43 meters under the sea. This masterpiece revealed herself to Alan Powter many years after the ship sunk. Alan was examining the wreck piece by piece, using one of Jacques Cousteau's first apparatuses. Protected by wooden planks like a chastity belt held in place for decades, she freed herself for Alan. What an encounter that must have been. This beauty parlor was first used for fancy hairstyles of aristocratic ladies, and then later the much simpler buzz cut of soldiers.
The ship's swimming pool more than likely saw its share of debauchery for smart ladies and gentlemen.
For many people, seeing the mysterious lady in the depths of her watery grave is the main reason to visit the Vanuatu Islands. I too was bewitched by this charming beauty. Yet, I longed to see more, to look at the ship's name, now overgrown by corals and seaweed. I had to dive 66 meters. From this depth, I would experience one of my longest returns to the surface and treasure every second.